Hey everyone, Jennifer Lee Chan here from NBC Sports Bay Area. 49ers just concluded their first day of pads, and that was Monday. Full length practice, and we saw everybody that we should see except for one player. Jordan Elliott did not practice today. We don't have any word on what his ailment is, but he did not practice, and maybe we'll get some more news from PR soon. Outside of that, the guys that we did not expect to see, Jawan Jennings, Jacob Cowing, Renardo Green, those guys did not practice as expected, but almost everybody else did. So we did see quite a few other players out there. I think the most fun part to watch about these padded practice are the one-on-ones. So you get to see the offensive line go against the defensive line, and that's really kind of the biggest story of the day. Teron Jackson also, who missed practice, left practice injured yesterday. Quick note on that. He also did not practice today. But one-on-ones are always fun to watch. It is defensive line versus offensive line, which is where I watched today. It's wide receivers versus DBs. It's tight ends and running backs versus linebackers. It's just, you get to see whose skill set is kind of going to work out for the player on the field. And with these young defensive linemen, it was really fun to watch. The most impressive rookie to me was CJ West. CJ West is like Robert Saleh named it best. He's like a little fire hydrant. He's 6'1", 330 some pounds, 313 pounds, I think. Really just a fire plug. And he won every single one of his reps. And yes, most of them were against kind of backup players because you have the rookies going against rookies. So, I mean, his bull rush is crazy. But he did do one rep against Dominic Cooney and nearly lifted him up off the ground. CJ West gets so low, and he really is like a DJ Jones. Gets really low. He's 313 pounds, has so much strength. He really just, kept getting the backfield, knocking over offensive linemen. And it's not necessarily fair for offensive linemen in these one-on-one drills because there's no stunts, there's no scheme, there's nothing that they can use to their advantage. It's purely defensive line bullying an offensive lineman. You don't know what's going to happen when. So that being said, CJ West still dominated. Mykel Williams did a pretty good job too. What was really noticeable with Mykel Williams is how twitchy he is. And when you hear scouts say that all the time, you're like, okay, yeah, whatever. He's twitchy, he's fast off the line. But when you see Mykel Williams and how fast his movements are off the line, just how fast his hands move. He's got heavy hands, how fast he moves them, how much he can get, how fast he can get into the backfield. You understand what twitchiness means. And I've understood it, but the difference between how twitchy Mykel Williams is to Alfred Collins, light years difference. Now, Alfred Collins also did a good job, not quite as powerful as Mykel, but he's a guy who, same height as Mykel, but 65 extra pounds. So he is going to move guys from point A to point B. I think he's more comfortable on the interior. I also think Mykel Williams is also more comfortable on the interior. Mykel did not do all of his one-on-one reps on the interior. He did a lot on the outside because I know they want him to increase his experience pass rushing from the outside. I think he's more comfortable on the inside, and I did see that on the field. When he was rushing from the inside, he did get into the backfield. Opposite of that, CJ West, who did such a great job in one-on-ones, didn't really have as much push once he got into team drills. So interesting how those guys and their skill sets will help them in certain situations. CJ West is going to get his opportunities, but Mykel, you can really see why the 49ers scouting department and coaching staff fell in love with him. You watch him and he just looks the part. He looks fast. He looks like he's going to get around. And, I would think he's going to pan out. There's always a possibility that he doesn't. But the fact that he looks like he's going to get around, he's a lot for an offensive line to handle. And I'm sure when they see him coming, you're looking at a lot. So it was interesting to see those guys go one-on-one. So play-wise, though, I think the best play of the day was made by George Kittle. George Kittle touchdown, and it was from Brock Purdy. And someone missed an assignment. It was they were coming towards us. So it was a throw to the right-hand side. George Kittle was all by himself. And then Demarcus Robinson was in front of him. So his lead blocker was Demarcus Robinson. George Kittle housed it in front of the crowd. Everyone went nuts. But yeah, there was definitely some missed assignment there. But George Kittle made the most of it, as he always does. So that was probably the biggest play of the day. Biggest hit of the day, I would say, was D Winters. D Winters thudded up on Isaac Orendo. And man, everybody was like, oh, I thought they weren't supposed to hit that hard, but they did. So that was a great play. Outside, there were some PBUs. Jair Brown had a good PBU. Brock Purdy had a pretty good day, but again, a lot of pressure. This is the time where the defense kind of runs the table. They know there's less scheming by the offensive line, so the defensive line kind of dominates. Nick Bosa got into the backfield quite a bit. Now, one-on-ones, he and Trent Williams did one-on-one versus each other. Trent Williams did kind of win that, held him out away from the quarterback position. There's usually just an offensive lineman standing there. But when it got to field work, Nick Bosa was back doing Nick Bosa things and getting into the backfield multiple times. It's hard to tell like who had the sack, but Nick Bosa was definitely delivering pressure. They run around the side and they have to tap the quarterback's shoulder pads. So I saw him back there quite a few times. I also saw Bryce Huff back there multiple times. So I think this defensive line has the potential to be very dominant as long as these young guys can take what they can do in one-on-one drills and put it to work in team drills. Saw Christian McCaffrey run a decent amount. Isaac Orendo was his second, so he did a nice job as well. What else do I have here as the best plays of the day? Outside of that, I think Brock Purdy had Russell Gage. He had a nice pass to him. It was double coverage. Jason Pinnock is a guy who spoke to us afterwards. So it was Jason Pinnock. He was out there covering Russell Gage. But kind of, I guess Robert Saleh kind of said it best. Like, there's so much hype towards day one of pads. And he's like, it's just always such a disappointment, which is pretty funny. He's like, there's so much hype. But he really, I think part of it is, you believe that as they get more adjusted to contact, guys get better. And this is what he said. He's like, I'll be honest, the first practice forever has always been the most disappointing day of the year. Not to say it wasn't good or anything, but everybody gets so hyped up for pads. I think the guys did a good job protecting one another and came out and competed. It was a big day from a load standpoint. It was a good protective day. So, it is what it is. And let me see, there's another thing he said. This is what he said about CJ West. He's like, yeah, he's like a little fire hydrant, right? But he's powerful. He's got heavy hands. He's going to be fine. He's like a lot of rookies. There are so many things that they're learning, especially on the interior of the defensive line, where it's a game within a game. The first thing they learn is pocket push, and then they learn how to capture an edge and rush from there. So one of the writers did tell him that CJ had some good reps on one-on-ones, and so he said he can't wait to see it. As far as what he believes, with Mykel Williams, this is what Robert Saleh said. Even if it was a discussion, it doesn't take long to know that he's going to be a starter. That was what the question was. Just look at him, right? He's very powerful. He's got great hands. He's got great leverage, and he has great flexibility to go inside and out. He's unique in that regard, which we knew, and which is why we were so excited to get him. Every day he's just going to get better and prove that he belongs. So I think the one guy who is going to take a little bit more time to be, effective in 11s in games and preseason, getting ready for the season, is Alfred Collins. And I think that's really only because he missed all of OTAs. He missed mandatory minicamp. He missed rookie minicamp. So once he starts getting these reps under his belt and stays healthy, I think Alfred Collins is going to be a great lineman. Going to get a lot of push on the interior. Just him standing still in the middle of the line he's like a human wall. So I do think that Alfred Collins is going to pan out pretty well, at least from what I can see now, but he's just got to get those reps in. For as tall of a guy as he is, he does get really low to the ground. So as long as he can stay low and use that, get his pad level low and get leverage, he'll be fine. Uh, Running back wise, one thing that did stand out to me is Corey Kiner. He did have one couple reps where he just once he hits the outside, and he is fast. He's got some burst. Jordan James has been good too. Isaac Arendo and Christian McCaffrey are kind of as advertised, but hadn't seen a lot of Corey Kiner. And there are some times where he gets the ball, and once he hits the open field, man, he's gone. So that's someone who's kind of impressed me. Also, Upton Stout. We asked Robert Sala about him. I did talk to him one on one, and I think I've seen him, I've watched him at practice, and he hangs out with Deommodore Lenoir, wants to, like a sponge, wants to learn everything from him. So that's a good thing. Young players who want to learn from the vets who know how to do it and who are successful, I think that's a great sign. So that's all I've got for you today from day one of pads. I'll be back up there tomorrow, day two of pads, and they'll have day off on Wednesday. So Tuesday, another padded practice, and then Wednesday, day off. So I'll get to rest on that day, but I'll probably still do a video. If you have guys you want me to drop videos of, please drop it in the comments. I will do my best to video those guys tomorrow and then put little short videos up of them on the site. So please follow, please subscribe, please like, please tell your friends, hey, there's a lot of 49ers content over here. Hope you guys are well, and I'll see you soon.